103.9 FM. My guest this evening is our very own Apostle BB Frederick. Yeah, a man of many parts. Man of many parts. You know him to be in the pulpit almost every day. But he's got some other sides that you don't know. This evening, like we always do, we'll run him naked. In the name of Jesus Christ. Because he came naked and he'll go back naked. So, thank you for joining us. Welcome to my show. This is Gospel.
Thank you.
And we're exactly within the hour of 7.
That's right.
And we invited you here to celebrate you. First of all,
Thank you.
For the many souls, especially this channel is a youthful, 100% youthful channel. So for the youth that you've been able to save under the feet of the cross is amazing.
That's right.
And when we go behind the scenes and see the things you are doing for humanity, is amazing. So we are honored this evening.
Great.
And it's so timely. The reason why I say it's so timely is that it's come at the right time, because this evening, last night, we picked up, the most prestigious prize for the gospel show of the year and gospel host of the year.
Wow.
The Moving Peak Hotel.
Wow.
Radio and Television Personalities Awards.
Wow.
And how else could we have celebrated it by having BB Frederick on the show?
Growing up, I was born in Mankasim and had my early education in Mankasim, and then moved from Mankasim to Accra to be with my dad. And I came to meet what we call hardship, difficulty. Looking at where we used to live and looking at the circumstances around, I would not use the word we were poor. No, we weren't poor, because at least at the end of the day, we had what to eat. But life was so difficult. And something in me really was challenging my environment, because I didn't really like that environment that I found myself. I felt like I deserved better. I felt like, no, life has to be better. And so on and on, I went to school. And when I went to school, I never wanted to be friends with the poor. I always wanted to move with guys who were on the move. I mean, people who had money, people who were on the move, as in rich parents and all of that. Meanwhile, I was coming from a very difficult background, all right? So then after secondary school, when I was in secondary school, whilst people were planning on becoming medical doctors, engineers, lawyers, and all of that, I was planning how to rob a bank.
Which school was this?
This is Ghana National College.
You were planning that?
I was planning on how to
rob when others are learning how to be doctors, bankers, and professionals in other fields.
So when sometimes teachers will come to class and they'll be like, hey, what do you want to be in future? I never uttered a word, because I knew what I was planning in school, all right? And my main target and my main objective was at Bank of Ghana. So that's where the cash is.
Lord have mercy.
All right, so I fell in love with mafia movies and robbery movies and all of that.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, okay, becoming a doctor, how much do you earn in a month? Becoming an engineer. I mean, as young as I was, Frankie Five, there is this demonic drive. All right, I won't call it godly, because it was a demonic drive that was always instigating me on how to make it like boom one time. That was me back in then in the school. And when I was in school, my nickname was called Terror Banton. And I got that Terror Banton because I won a weed smoking competition in Addis Ababa College. And so they decided to add the Banton to my name. So everybody that knows me knows that this guy was called Terror Banton. And to date, most of my colleagues and my schoolmates still are finding it difficult to comprehend the fact that this guy is a change guy. Because I was a gangster, a hooligan in school. All right. So after secondary school, obviously I failed my papers. I failed. I don't even know where my results are. I failed. So when I came back, I felt that my dad was disappointed. My mom was disappointed. And then somehow I was like a mommy's boy, and my mom will always have a way to cover me even when I do wrong. But my dad saw the terrain in which I had taken, and he was reading the future from the now. Yeah. And he was so worried because he was a spiritual man. And then on and on, he asked me to go rewrite papers and do this ABC. And I'm like, you know what, Dad? I'm not really in for this school thing. just leave me alone and let me just take my life into my hands. And he said, then this house cannot contain us. And I'm talking about a house, chamber, and a hall without a window. Okay, at a place called Ashoman Estate Musuku. That was where we used to live, in a compound house. When you want to go up to visit the washroom, I won't call it washroom, that thing that you and then you have like 20 people on the queue. Yeah, I mean, so I just wanted to know how bad life was. So my dad is like, no, if you don't want to go to school, then I'm not going to raise you here. You cannot be in my house. So what I did was that I left the house and I went to be with my brother, my elderly brother, Gibson. And while I was with him...
But wait a minute, when you were in school doing all those vice stuff, was daddy and mommy aware? Did they get the news?
Not really, until one time I went to one of the houses called Mensa Kane. And I was friends with these guys who were called the Billionaire Club in school. And I was there one Saturday when I saw one guy called Benzino, how his parents came to visit him and brought him some quite money, like pounds. It was about 2,000 pounds. And at that time, they had saved. It was a collective money. So they were going to use it for parties and stuff after school. All right. So I walked with Benzino into his dormitory and he put the money in his trunk.
Yeah.
So when we all went back to the classroom, I came back from the classroom and we called something scaling. So I scaled to the second floor. And then I had a spoon. We had a way to unlock the padlock. So I broke the padlock, and for my ignorance, I thought everybody was in class. But no, there's this one guy who was just at the corner, and he was ill and didn't go to school, didn't go to class. So he saw me while I took the money. And this Benzino guy is a Muslim, a very radical guy. I mean, he was also in another squad, but they are very fierce guys. So later when they came back to class and they came back to the dormitory, realized that the trunk was broken, money was gone. Then the guy said, it is Terrell that did it. Man, the whole school, when we said the hard guys, the bad boys, they were over 150 together. You know, with stakes, with machete. And in Ghana National that time, when we arrest a thief, we beat you like you arrested a thief at KJT. Yeah. I mean,
they don't care whether you are a student.
No, most of my mates, Shizo was beaten until he went unconscious and never came back to school. He left the school. He was beaten till he got mad. Various and many of those. So when you are arrested and you are caught, not that you are dead. All right. So I was in my dormitory and one guy called Tibu came to give me a hands up. He said, Massa, if you don't run away for your life, you are dead. And at that time, I felt like I was on top of everybody. I mean, this is terror. Nobody can touch me. I'm just like, this downed hooligan, like stubborn boy. So I'm like, who has the guts and the nerve to come and touch me? Nobody. But later when I saw the crowd that was coming, I realized that this one, I have to run for my life. So I scaled down and then bolted. So that thing became a talk of town. Like, I mean, the news spread all across on campus. And that had to get my uncle, who is now the bishop of Action Chapel, Cape Coast. So they were my guardian while I was in school. So everything, they are the first point of call that the teachers will call. So they called them to come to the school. And they said, this is what I've done. And I've run out of school and everything. And they think they have to sack me and all of that. So daddy got involved. And they invited my dad to come back to the school. But when daddy came, well, thank God for my auntie, Mrs. Bento, who paid the money for me. But my daddy gave me a hell of beating that my whole life I've never experienced that beating. It would have been better if the student had beaten me. So the headmaster watched me, and then the assistant headmaster, they said, no, the way this man is beating this boy, if we sack this boy and he goes home, this man will kill him. Yeah. That is how come I got my head saved from being sacked and dismissed. But most of my gang boys and my friends, most of them were dismissed in school. I think me and just a few that remained, and we were able to finish. So daddy got to know about just that encounter.
Only that encounter.
Only that encounter.
The other ones,
no, he never knew.
No idea.
He never knew.
The wee gangster.
No,
and everything.
no. He never knew. He never knew. Of course, when I come back from vacation, this little bad boy stuff that everybody does, But my main character and who truly I was, I had to conceal it.
So you had two characters.
Two characters.
Different one at home, different one at
in
school.
school. That's right.
It's still happening today in the schools. It's still happening.
Yes.
Let's go. I'm enjoying the story.
Yes.
So,
So
so
then,
you went to stay with your brother, your senior brother.
yes, and then there too, we were having confusions because he would go to work and I'll bring my girlfriend in, and then it's just a chamber in a hall. So I'll use his bed, and he says, "Hey, young man, you can't do these silly things in my house. So get out." So I had to now leave, and I was just on my own. So what I did was that quickly I ran to Art Center in Accra.
This very high street Art
Yes,
Center.
Art Center. Man, you don't want to know what goes on there. That is a very terrible place, Art Center. So at the time, there was this guy, he was the head of the gang in the whole of Art Center, and he was the head of robbery. I mean, he controls every robbery activity from Accra to Weja. From here to Weja. Beyond Weja is another territory for somebody.
Ooh.
Yes. So anything, I remember one time, that was when I became born again. I mean, just at freshly becoming born again, the armed robbers attacked my uncle in East Legon, and they took his car, took a lot of things. And when he called me, he asked for prayer. I said, "Daddy, this one I won't pray. I know where to go." So quickly, I had to go to Art Center, and I met Don, and I told Don that this is the situation.
He knew you.
Oh, he knew me. He knew me. I mean, so I told him, and he said, he's seen some posters around. People have brought posters that now I'm a pastor. Is that true? And I said, we'll talk about that some other time. But my uncle has been robbed. Yeah. And frankly, in less than 5 minutes, he organized everything, and he said that tomorrow morning at 6, we should go to Medina, social welfare, blah, blah, blah. We'll find everything. We met the car with every goose inside intact.
Hey.
Yes. Don is a dangerous man. Man, you need to see that man. Very dangerous man. So when I was in secondary school, I tried something like a counterfeit, double your money. And they were doing that around our center area. So that is how come I got connected to him. So after school, when I went to him, he said, "What do you want here?" And I said, "I want to work with you." And he said, "You want to work with us? But we thought you were in school. We didn't have the privilege to go to school. That is why we are here. But since you are in school, your parents have taken you to secondary school. Continue school." I said, "No, I'm tired with school. Don, I want to join you and I want to work with you." And I love that Don life, that gangster life.
At that age, you were thinking of breaking
I'm telling
the
you,
Bank of Ghana.
Man.
It could have only somebody with a big heart and small body to think of that.
I have a very strong heart, Frankie. Very, very strong. Very, very, very strong heart. So he said, "Are you sure you want to join us?" And I said, "I want to join you." So that day he sacked me home. I went, I came back again, he sacked me, and then he warned me that next time I come there, he's going to beat me up and going to get the guys to mess me up. I came there again, the guys tried to mess me up, but I said, "No, I still want to work with you, with this guy." So he welcomed me, and he said, "What do you want to do?" Because they are into different stuff. I don't want to disclose that on the radio, but they're into so many stuff. And I said, "I want the robbery side. Push me in the robbery." He said, So he gave me a name, Yaro. He said, "Yaro." Yaro means a small boy. He said, "Yaro." Now, he said, do you have the heart to rob? I said, "You try me and see." So they did this thing with me. They tried me, and that was an afternoon robbery. They gave me a knife, just a piece of knife, and they asked me to bring somebody who was close from work. I should bring a bag. They don't want a female. They want a man's bag. I should take somebody's briefcase.
That was your test.
That was my test before I am keyed into the gang. For them to see whether, and you are going on your own. If you die, you die. They don't care. But thank God that on that day, one guy standing there called John. He has big earrings around him. He said, "No, they should give me 2 guys." So they gave me Faisal, and they gave me one guy, Yusuf. He's a Malian. They added the 2 so that they will be like a cover.
A second cover.
A second cover. So they are not with me, but they are with me, okay? So it's like the moment you do it, and then Yawa Pai
fails.
And he fails, and they say, "Hey, do Lord." They will come in. They are very stout and very strong guys. So they will come in and snatch you from the mob. But they will slap you as though they are beating you and they are taking you to the police station, but they will swerve with you. So that is how the operation was. Yeah. So most of the Julo, you see about 4 guys coming, and then they snatch him like they are beating. No, they are taking him away. All right. Sorry, who is calling?
Osofo is on his
price.
Why are you calling him at this time?
So I went, and then that day it was around 4:30, and that was around Bank of Ghana, the same Bank of Ghana area. Yes, close to Baden Powell Hall, the traffic light there. So I saw these 2 gentlemen, one of them holding a briefcase. And then the Pfizer is like, this is what you have to do. Go for that briefcase and bring it. Take it to the camp. And you see, Frankie Five, I believe that when the enemy sets you up on assignment, he equips you with some stupid courage and some stupid boldness. There's this boldness that something on me that make me feel like, look, I'm not afraid of anything. And I was ready to die anytime because this young boy want to be a street boy and make it big time. So I just stood there, and then I was just observing them. Every thief is very intelligent. Don't take them for fools. They are very, very intelligent. So I had to understudy their movement.
Yeah.
And then I went in straight. And then I held the guy's back, tried to pull. And it was like, hey, young man. So I pulled a knife and I put it at his rib. I didn't push it. And I said, drop the bag as I kill you. So spontaneously he dropped the bag. I picked it. So when I just turned, that is when he shouted, Julo, hey, Julo, Julo. Man, you should have seen that day. The taxi drivers, truck pushers, people here. And I was running with the knife and then the bag. Like anybody that crosses me, I will pierce you.
Hey.
Yes, that was how bad it was. So I went further, but I realized that there were people who were like interfering with my running. So I got trapped, and then this mob were coming. So thank God for this Faisal and Yusuf, as usual, who broke in, and they are well known in the Accra area that these guys are mad. When they come around anything, just leave it for them. So they came, and then two dirty slap, papa, then the Yusuf took the bag. Well, in the midst of the mob, he went behind it, and then he left with the bag, and Faisal took me out of the mob and took me to the camp. And they told Don that, Don, this guy, the kind of heart he has, none of us in this place has that kind of heart.
Lord.
And Don was like, when he was even speaking about it, he thought I was going to object. Or he thought when we go to the crime scene,
yes,
I would say, this is too big for me, I won't do it. And he was like, you actually did it? And I said, I did it. Have I passed my test? They said, you come and join the gang. So that is how come I joined that gang in Art Center, Accra.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, folks, we are live on Hits 103.9 FM, and deep revelations from the man, Apostle B.B. Frederick, a big pastor today. Wait, I'm coming. This is the story I was looking for. The Saul to Paul story. So does God give this kind of heart to people?
Oh, he does. He does. I mean, he does.
Really? Does. So now, after all these, tell us, did you ever kill?
No, I never killed.
You never?
No, that killing, no.
Did you ever go on a top robbery?
Yes, we did. I was involved in about 3 top robberies that we got escaped nicely. Just the last one, we got a friend shot. One of the guys was shot to death, and then we escaped. All right, that was around that time. Ajigana was a new site. You know, Ajigana was a new site, so there was one military man that we attacked his home, and it was bad. I mean, behind his house was also some colleagues, military folks. So when we were in his house and we gave the warning shot, they heard. So they didn't call police, but man, it was that day we were running, the guns were just flying off our heads. And then got one guy who was called Killer. They got him killed. You know, but
Killer got killed.
Killer got killed and died.
Unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately.
The killer got killed.
He was a killer of what guys and he killed. Yes. So many a times when we go on the robbery and they want to shoot or they want to do something, I normally will intercept. They're like, hey, we came for money. I mean, and when you look at the mafia movies that I used to watch, I mean, you don't kill when you've gotten your target. I mean, you've gotten
what you're coming for.
Yeah,
why
do you kill? You know, you don't kill. So normally they kill out of intimidation. They're scared and all of that. And you know, some of them, the joy of holding the trigger and pulling the trigger. So they just want to waste lives. That's why you should pray never for an armed robber to attack you or to come at you in the night, because at the moment you don't know what's going to happen. Some of them, out of panic, they just shoot. They will just waste your life. If they feel you're going to be a problem or a stumbling block, they take you out. All right. So in all of the top robberies, about 3 or 4, I never killed anybody. But the last one was where my encounter was. And that one, I went alone. All right, I went alone at a Shoman Estate.
Alone.
Alone at a Shoman Estate. At that time, I wanted to have a party at Indigo nightclub. There was this nightclub. Yeah, it's called Indigo nightclub, and then the Macumba nightclub. So my whole life, if I'm not with a gang, I'm in a club. That was my whole. I mean, right after say, if I'm not with a gang, I'm in a club. There was a club at the Braka called Wakiki.
Macumba was at
Osu.
Dankwa. Around of going to Osu.
Yes, that's that roundabout. Yes, and so the Wakiki there, I became more like I never paid money to go to club. I became member. I'm well known, so I wanted to have this party called Disco Inferno at Indigo nightclub, and I needed money, so I have to make the money at all costs. All right, and that was what led me, because when you go on a group robbery, nothing comes to you. Everything goes to the boss. And he decides. Sometimes he won't give you anything. Okay, you just say, get out from here, and then you have to go. Maybe just a peanut to buy food or something. Yes. And all this while, understand that my daddy was an apostle. My daddy was a pastor. And I was into that. So children of God that are hearing me, and parents that are hearing me, shouldn't think that just by the act of they going to church, their children are safe. They need to have this input, parental input and responsibility, a daily checkup on their children. Every time, I'm telling you, because my daddy didn't know that side, too much of it. He just thought that, Akwalabone, Frederick Akwalabone, but that was the extreme. All right, I was into those things and he never knew. And sometimes I'll just pass through the house and he never wanted to look at me eyeball to eyeball. My daddy and I, we were like enemies, at the early stage, because I was stubborn. I was just worrying this man, So I'll just pass through the house once in a while, and then my sisters will see me, give me fans, and then I disappear again, So then this last one, I said, let me go have this robbery. It was actually two ladies that picked me up in a taxi. I had to act like I was stranded on the road of Ashoman. From Obahiman to Ashoman, I acted stranded. And that was around 12 midnight. And these ladies had chartered a taxi, and they said, oh, driver, it's like that young man is stranded. Let's pick him. Maybe he's going our way. And the driver said, okay, if you want me to pick him. So they picked me. And then long story short, one of them dropped and then remaining the other. And I think the girl was waiting for me to get down. We had gotten to T Junction and I was still in the car. And then she said, now we're quiet. So no see her. Now the driver no coffee. So this is where the enemy decided to set me up, and that was where the devil was going to kill me. Because where the lady was going on was A-line, and A-line from the T junction to A-line is a walk, about 15 to 20 minute walk. And who would charter a car at that middle of the night and decide to get down from the car and walk to A-line? It was a demonic setup. So she got down, and then the driver said, Scanasa, until he's not going to take me anywhere. Me too, I should get down and walk to my house. And I said, okay, that's fine. So I got down from the car. And while the lady was going up, I was just moving after her slowly. So she looked back once and she realized that I was after her. She looked back again, she realized I was getting closer. So she started doubling up her steps. Now when she started doubling up her step, I realized that this girl has caught me. She knows that I'm on the move. So I also started doubling up, and that is where she started running away. So I caught her on the hilltop. And when I caught her, unfortunately that day I didn't have a knife, no nothing.
No weapon.
No weapon.
Empty hands robbery.
Empty hands robbery. Probably if I had a knife, because the girl was stubborn and she was refusing to let go of the bag. And this is what she said, that bag contains the life of the mother. The mother is at Kolebu at the emergency, and they're going to operate on her. And those days when they pay salary, they put it in an envelope and put it in your hand.
Yeah.
So her salary was given to her, and she was going to use that for the mother's operation, and that if I take the money, the mother dies, that she will prefer to die instead. So frankly, it became a combat. I was slapping this girl. She said, I will not leave the bag. I realized that no, this girl is just a bad robbery night, So I had to she was screaming, Obinjime, Obinjime. And at that time of Victor Salome in Ashoman Estate, there were vigilantes. You remember those days? Almost every day.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Like they'll kill somebody and burn him.
Yeah.
I mean, we were seeing that every day.
Yeah.
So there were these vigilantes that were in the hood, in the neighborhood. And when the girl was shouting, I heard one of them blow a whistle. And I'm familiar with that whistle because I've escaped it many times. So when I heard that whistle, I realized that, hey, Kwabena, and then the entry. So I had to start running away. unfortunately for me, the routine that I took,
Yeah.
I met all these vigilantes, stout guys with sticks, with daggers, with knives. So I had to lie. They said, "Hey, young man, where did they go?" And I said, they are raping a girl, some girl up there, and I chanced on them. And one of the guys is running after me. And they said, yeah, they heard the noise, and that is why they are coming. So just when they left me, in the split of a minute or less than a minute, the girl also ran to the same uncompleted building and said that is the guy that was trying to rob me. Oh man, that was where this guy stand, and they say, "Stand there, Julo!" So I leaped over the uncompleted wall, and then I started running. Frankie, that was a hell moment for me. I looked back and I could see close to 200 people. And all of them with weapons. I mean, I can fight them, I can't outrun them. So I just realized that this one, that's the end of me. Intimate through second junction. When I go to Ashoman Estate second, now one day I'll take you there. Now every birthday of mine, I go to kneel there and I go to pray with my family, with my wife and kids. And I tell my kids, I will tell them a story about this place one day, but my wife knows about it. Because where I fell till today, no matter how they fix the road of the second junction in Ashoman, that portion where I fell, a hobby too. There will be like it looks like somebody has actually used pickaxe to dig the place out. You know, that kind of thing. Where I fell.
When they fix it,
it will remove again. When all the road will be smooth, but just that portion. Because that day destiny hit on that ground. So when they were after me, I looked behind and I realized that no, this thing, I will not survive it. So this is what I did. As far as my dad was a pastor, I knew about heaven and hell. So this was my prayer. I said, Lord, I lifted my eyes to the heavens while I was running. And I was weary at that time and I was fainting. I knew I couldn't go further. So I just said, Lord, forgive me. So when I die, I come to you. That was the prayer I prayed. I want to come to heaven. I was crying. I want to come to heaven. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive. Because I knew that the soul that sinned, my next junction is hell after I'm crucified and lynched. So just when I said that, I felt a stick thrown into my legs. I somersaulted and I fell down. That was the spot. I said, when we go there till today, you'll see the place. No matter how they fix the road, it will remove. So when I fell, I just closed my eyes and I was so stiff and shivering. I was just waiting for somebody to descend some dagger on my head and they start killing. But then there was another whistle that was blown downstairs, like down the valley, and say, Yachino, we've caught him. And surprisingly, these people who were after me started running on top of me. They were stampede on my head, everywhere, my hand. And I'm like, can they see me? Can they feel me? They were still running. Yachino following the whistle at the valley there.
So something else was also happening at another side.
As another side. And this is what happened. There's this guy that went to Adisada College called Bob. Wherever mommy, I know mommy is not listening, man. Mommy is not, because the mom is like my mom right now. And I have taken care of her ever since the Lord made me who I am today. So that guy was the only child of the mother. And at that night, when I did the thing, I was on a red shorts and a camouflage singlet. And Bob was on a red shorts and a camouflage singlet as well.
Holy.
But he was a dadabi, like they had money, he had gone to America and was back.
Yeah.
And had gone to his girlfriend's party. And was coming back home in the same estate, and he was just walking back to his house when he met a group of people who were the vigilantes. So they'll make a call across that what is the thief wearing.
Yes.
So the other party got the information that I'm wearing a red shorts and a camouflage singlet. So when they saw Bob, they said, "Hey, stand there! You be the thief!" Then he too started running away because he was scared of their knives.
It was midnight.
So he was instead of these people to just interview him well, they threw the dagger at him. The next morning, this guy was chopped like beef.
Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
he was chopped like beef. But that night, when they ran on top of me, look, Frankie 5, there was just like a floodlight. I've never seen the brightness of that light in my whole life. There was this bright light that descended on me, and the whole place was lit, pure white. Then I heard this voice. He said, "I am Elohim." That was the voice. That was the first time I heard the voice of God. "I am Elohim." And then he said, we could not allow you to die this way because destinies are connected to you and you have a divine mandate to accomplish it on earth. And if you die, a whole generation will die. The reason why we created we said what? We created a scapegoat for you. And this is the transaction that I have with you from today. That when you rise up from here, you'll pick upon yourself the cross and you'll be a preacher of my word and you will take it across the nations. And wherever you stand with the mandate to push me, Christ, I will show myself and I will honor the words which you say. Man, I was hearing it like you are speaking to me right now.
The way you are memorizing it.
No, because I'm writing my story. I mean, we want to, at a certain age, I want to make it a film. You know, I want to encourage, we want to take it to the prisons. We want to take it to people who feel like who have given up on their children because they are stubborn and all of that. That if God could do this for me, He can do it for them as well. So this is how come the light disappeared and this old man came to tap me and said, "You are the one they are looking for." And I said, "Grandpa, don't give me away." He said, "No, you don't know who I am. Follow me." So he held me, took me through a showman in Samampa, and said, "Follow this path to your house." When I turned back, I didn't see the man. That was when another trauma. I said, "Hey, I've seen a ghost." I started shouting in the bush, running. So I went to my house straight at Musuku, because Ashoman and Musuku isn't far. I was just running in mud, running everywhere. And I went to knock the door. And if my sister is, I told her I'll be on this, so I'm sure by now she's listening. I knocked the door. My sister came out. He said, "Kwabena, now, by this time now, why you feeding me like you're looking dirty? What's the problem?" And I said, "Sister, I just escaped a serious death. Is Daddy home?" He said, "Daddy has traveled." I said, "Open the door." That's how come she made me take my bath. She was bringing me food. I said, "I don't want to eat." I started crying. And that time, Dina Samoa song, "Mabo Medina Mafreo, Entimebe Nyakukudro," you know. So I don't know. I just went to the table of my dad and I picked the cassette and I put it into when the song started playing, man, it was like a funeral day, man. I wept uncontrollably. And then I started feeling this love of God all over, wrapping my heart, wrapping my mind. You know, I didn't love gospel music any day, anytime. But at that moment, it's like I was under this arrest of the Holy Spirit. And then I just told my sister, "Where are Daddy's Bibles and books?" He said, "Hey, now, I said, what is happening to you?" I said, "Where are Daddy's Bibles?" He said, "They are over there." I went to pick the Bible. I didn't know what I was reading. I was just opening, flipping the pages, and I was just loving everything I was seeing in there. And I wept in the pages of the Bible till my dad arrived from Kumasi that morning and met me, my face in the Bible, and I was asleep. And told my sister, "Hey, this criminal, what is he doing?" And my sister said, "Daddy, something has happened throughout the night. You have no idea. Your boy is a changed man." And this is where the whole experience with the Lord began.
Wow.
Yeah.
In fact, if I'll confess, for the last 5 years, this will be the biggest story. Yeah, Mario. Yeah, I think this will be the biggest story we've heard on this show. And it meets directly what we have preached about all these years. The grace of God.
That's right.
When he met Saul on that road to Damascus, when he was killing people, he ended up fishing men for Christ. And so I would love to say you are also a destiny child.
That's right.
Destiny child. Because for what you've been through and for what we have heard, you shouldn't have been allowed. You shouldn't have been alive today. And I now get to understand why you have passion for the youth.
That's right.
So I'm like, this man, why is it that it's just when you any pictures, any videos I see, I've not entered your church.
Wow.
But I've seen your videos, and you know, majority youth. I'm like, those are the elderly people in this church. I see your love for the youth.
That's right.
And I can tell that practically things like this are going on. Man of God, what are you doing about it?
Yes. And so we have strategized our evangelism.
Yes.
And we do what we call Jesus Day Out. every year. It's a day of it's a Sunday, but we dedicate it all out to win souls. And I told them that the target of the souls should be on the youth. Just go to every youth you see on the street. And by the grace of God, we've won many. We've won many. We've won many. I was at the Labadi sales. That was about 2 months ago. No, 1.5 months ago at Labadi sales. And there were 11 youth who were inside the cells. And they were being prosecuted. And they were going to face jail sentence. That was the next day. And the Lord just told me, I brought you here for a reason, that you take every one of them out here. So there were 11. I spent about 29,000 that day to pay. Some of them were owing that they were going to stab somebody, and then the person went to the hospital, and then the stitch was like 1,500. And the court will say, if you don't pay, you are going inside 6 years. Then I had to pay. Paid. And these boys are stubborn boys. I had to enter the cell. I had to be with them. We had to fight, and they were shocked. This man, nicely dressed, looking good, and he coming in here. I said, I was once like, when I started sharing my story, they realized that they are babies. And today, just 4 days ago,
yes,
one of them, their sister called me. It's like the guy is playing drums in Assemblies of God.
Yes.
The others are doing mighty things in the churches. We got a church. All of them are within the Labadi vicinity, so we give them to the churches there. So next year, this is my plan. We already importing some huge stuff from China, and then from Germany. And we want to start invading our campuses. All right, we invading our campuses with, we want to call it fearless. And that we are going with the message of coming to Christ. Yes. And we're going to them because you see, many people think that coming to the Lord is just this one boring stuff. You can't swag up. You can't even wear certain kind. No, man. God is too big for anybody to understand. All right, and He gives the mandate. Your mandate is your responsibility, and He gave me the mandate of young adult. I cannot be dressed. Somebody said, "Why do you wear jeans to preach?" I'm like, I have to wear jeans to preach because I want to identify with the young adult. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So if you come to my church, you see people, you see a man, and you see even some of the young boys. You see them braiding their hair and everything. And you know what? They do that to a certain level. Then they start shaving properly. The
consciousness comes.
You understand? Yes, but they wouldn't just come in and you'll be like, hey, go and get that thing off. No, we don't do that. We take time, and I will take you through the meetings, the messages that you'll be hearing Sunday after Sunday. And so my place is going to see the place overflow right now. We are having said it's overflow.
I heard you are about to expand the church.
Yes, now I'm moving to a new location. Serious strategic land.
Folks, if you are listening to us and you're a young person and you've been touched by this story and you feel so strongly in your heart that God is speaking to you, I'm activating the phone lines now. That's Apostle is here. He's ready to listen and throw some advice and also invite you over.
I feel like I'm the first point of example. And just as the Lord did to me, so I'm doing to them. Now, one of the ways to show a sinner, the way to God, is to show them love. Okay, love is the strongest virtue. And when you show love to anybody, no matter how messed the person is and how bad he is, he will respond to love. Okay, so how I'm able to do all of those things is the big heart that I have for them. And the kind of love that I show for them, I show to them, and I don't discriminate, and I don't use their iniquities against them. I don't preach their sins back to them. I preach love and I preach salvation. And salvation is not a preaching of reminding them of the sins they have done. Salvation is revealing to them who Christ is to them. And whenever they know that in spite of all the things they've done, someone still loves them and they can be used by the Lord, and I play back my story to them, they can so much relate, and then quickly repentance takes over. Yes, repentance takes, and we have a lot of youth. Oh my God, a lot of youth who are on fire for the Lord right now. And next year is going to be brutal in Accra here. When we move to the land, because where I am, I'm restricted because I'm renting the hall. But when we move to where we're going now, the revival coming back to this country is something I can't talk about. Yeah.
So guys, we've had a very beautiful time here with the man, but just before you take leave of us, we know you are into other parts of corporate Ghana. How are you able to blend this kind of busy schedules, taking care of the flock And at the same time, you're able to have time for business and live life the way you are living. And when someone saw your artwork and said, hey, this man, guy, swag. If he be cars. If he be shada. How do you do all that? How do you able to match the two?
Well, I will relate it to grace. I relate it to grace because this is a man that has never been to Polytechnic, university, or whatsoever. Just after my fallout in secondary school, that was it. You know, and today I have a workforce of about 365 workforce in BB Holdings. And most of them are master's holders and I have PhD holders and everything. And I'm looking at how an SS leaver like me
Could employ
them, could employ them. So God has been very good. Sometimes the wisdom out of which I execute some of these things, even me, and my wife always is like, I'm amazed at the way you do those things. I'm amazed about the way you do your stuff. And I'm like, this can be nothing but grace. It is absolutely grace. So, I mean, I find it so easy mixing the two, the corporate and then the spiritual things. And I think it's good for every young and upcoming prophet to emulate this one, because one of the things that I asked my spiritual father, and Daddy, I salute you, Apostle General Sankrachankra. I said, Daddy, how is it that you guys have stayed out of trouble and out of mess and out of scandal? He said, because apart from what we do in the house of God, we work as well. So if every prophet would also get a side hustle, all right, nobody will be telling lies and will be going to juju and be finding them, because every one of these guys who are going into juju, into occultism and everything, it's just for money. It's just for money. I'm telling you, it's just for money, for the fame, for glory, so they can show certain things. But I want them to know that God blesses. When I put my cast out there, I'm not just bragging. But Paul said that even if we are bragging about the cross. It's about the benefit of the cross and what God has done for us. I'm just telling the youth in Ghana that there is blessing and prosperity in Christ Jesus. And if you're a pastor, just don't fall on offerings. If you fall on offerings, you'll be this corona, if I tell you how many men of God are fed, you'll be surprised. Wow. Who had bigger churches and everything. Man of God, I had to be wiring money to them.
Lord.
Because their lives were
church was closed down.
Church was closed down. So no job. So the family must eat. I was surprised. And I'm like, so you guys don't have anything? Man, we could close church for 20 years, and I'm just.
Yes.
That is even the way. That's the time I'm going to.
Oh Lord,
more bigger, and I'm telling you, because if you come to my church, honestly, you won't see like people coming to see a prophet and they are paying consultation fee. I don't do all of that. People are amazed. How is this guy buying these luxurious cars? And I'm telling them that is a side hustle by the side. I have BB Holdings is made up of 8 big companies. 8 big companies, and all of them are in serious functions. All right, and I sit as the chairman of the group, and I haven't been to university. There is hope for everybody that is listening to me.
Hope for everybody.
Not just that, even secondary school, I left with good grades. I left with bad grades. But today here, this is where I am. So there is hope for every youth and every young prophet that is hearing the sound of my voice. Get something by the side. But then don't do anything that will take your attention from God. Sometimes this business can be so much, it can sway you off. And God locked me down about 4 years ago. He shut me, said, stop everything you are doing. I had to close all my businesses down. Because I was swaying into business more than the ministry. Until he made me come back again to it. But now I know the balance. So now they are working for me. I don't even go to the office. I only sit at the board meetings and I take report.
Nice.
So that I can have time for God's children and for God's work.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah.
Wow. So how many cars do you have now?
Hey.
Just tell me how many cars you have.
And also.
Like.
Now it's all about me feel.
5.
I'm coming feel.
No, I saw a lot of them packed on the street though. BB1, BB2.
I need one.
Which one is the most expensive car you've driven?
The most expensive
one that you have driven.
The most expensive.
Yeah.
Well, the most expensive is about to be launched, so it has arrived, but I haven't.
It's going to be part of your flock.
Yes.
How many?
It's a Lamborghini.
Lord.
Yeah.
Kinagaze.
Hey.
So the new one is about to be launched. says, and if you quantify it, how much would that be? How much would that be?
That is 192,000 USD. Yeah.
Okay. Boss, you get some for your accounting side. You get some for your accounting side. Thank you so much for visiting us.
Thank you, Frankie.
We are honored
Great.
for you to take time off your busy schedules and be in this small studio.
Great.
We are privileged. You
I
have
am
no
too.
idea. We are honored.
I am too.
And we
I
are
am
excited that you came.
too. Thank you.
May God increase you.
Amen.
And expand your coast.
Amen.
May the things that you are doing triplicate
Amen.
and have enough to give to the poor.
Amen.
May you never go. In fact, after you say 20 years, cry, you can't even feed the kid. That one, I'll take it out. You know. And so share your. People want to know your social media handles and your phone. Your number that people can call.
Great.
Share with us.
Great. Now, for now, I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram now. I'm only on Facebook.
Okay.
And so you just go BB Frederick. When you just type BB Frederick, it will take you straight to my Facebook page, and then you like and then follow up for some real updates from me and my ministry. And then the number you can call, just call my pastoral office, not my business office.
Okay.
Call my pastoral office 055 059 2757. 055 059 2757. When you call, you're going to talk to Priscilla. But now if you call, Priscilla must be in service right now.
Okay.
Yeah, she must be on the stage. Yeah, so be called tomorrow morning, and then if you want to see me, she will arrange with you. It's not difficult seeing me. God will allow us and will help us to meet, and then we'll take it from there. The number again is 055 059 2757. And my church, if you want to join us also tonight, you'll come to Chartered Institute of Bankers, Baoleshi Traffic Light, East Legon. Chartered Institute of Bankers, where it's happening hot right now. I'm teaching on something I call Money Comet tonight.
Nice.
It's serious.
What time? It's starting now?
Yeah, no, I mean,
They are already on.
I'm just going in to preach. I'll
Straight.
close 9:30.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
God bless you, Frankie.
God bless you, sir.
I enjoyed myself.
Nice.
Thank you.
This has been a nice time here with the man, BB Frederick, Apostle of God.